There we go. There we go. Welcome back to another episode of Game Pass Grab Wag, your weekly podcast reviewing games from the Game Pass collection, or in this case, talking about games that will be coming to the Game Pass collection. If you're not new to this episode or this podcast, you know that this is not Andrew. It's Keith. I'm going to be hosting this week. Andrew's not with us. I actually don't know where he is. Do you? Aaron?
Yeah, he was really
He was very cryptic about where he was. I think he has a job interview for another podcast and he doesn't want to tell us. So
he was really dodgy about not being able to be on the podcast. Yeah, we were going to review a game this week, but we've decided to push that off an additional week because Andrew couldn't make it. And you said, why don't we talk about the Xbox partner preview? And I said, why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Why don't we do that? As a sneak peek, though, we will be reviewing. What are we reviewing again? Disco Elysium.
Disco Elysium, yeah.
Keith, how much of Disco Elysium have you played so far?
It's hard to say. I've played, I probably somewhere like 7 to 8 hours at least. I've restarted a couple of times. I died pretty early on, and I was just like, I'm just gonna restart because I actually
this is going to be a good discussion.
This is going to be one of those. I didn't really realize that I could have just reloaded, and I just restarted, and I did that like twice. And I was like, I'm kind of dumb.
It's going to be a fascinating because I think you guys are both playing on console, and I'm really curious how this plays on console. I mean, we'll discuss it next week because I've been playing it almost exclusively on PC without a controller.
Yeah, I could see it being better mouse and keyboard, but
feels like it was built for it, but anyway, that's just a little sneak peek of what we'll be reviewing next week.
Should be a good episode. But yeah. So if you are new to this, I'm Keith. I'm not normally the host, but I am always here, and I'm one of the hosts. And then Aaron is with us pretty much always. You were technically a guest for like a couple months, and now let's be honest.
Yeah, at this point,
you're on this podcast now.
Feels pretty permanent at this point.
We love having you. No. But anyways, Xbox partner preview. This was a 30-minute show. I think they crammed it
just about. There was no in between talking. It was just reveal.
And truthfully, is there a better way to do a game showcase than just showing us games at the end of the day?
I'm gonna be a little curious, kind of how the greater gaming world views this. Do you remember a few years back? It would like the big controversy was at these preview programs. They would just show like CGI cuts, like cutscenes.
Oh yeah, there wasn't any videos.
There wasn't any in-game play, and I remember Phil Spencer had to come out and say, moving forward, we are only going to show kind of in gameplay elements. And that was kind of his, like, trying to stamp that out. This was like the complete opposite. This was almost all, like, cutscenes and very little gameplay.
Well, just looking at the list, there's at least 3 I can think of off the top of my head that are 2027 releases. Now,
yeah,
we're already through the first quarter of 2027. We're coming to the end of March. But giving us a bunch of videos for games that are going to come out in 2027 feels a little, I don't know. It's exciting. They all looked really great, but I'm with you. It kind of takes away from that, hey, we're only going to give you in-game footage, and now we're just watching a bunch of videos of what might just be cutscenes at the end of the day.
Yeah, I feel like right now what you're kind of getting as the normal rotation is you'll get the big Xbox showcase in the summer. So that's their big hoorah. Throughout the year, we'll get those, what do they call them? Developer updates or developer previews.
Developer Direct, I think.
Developer Direct. So that's the ones where they'll show 3 to 4 games, something like that. And they'll spend a little bit more of a deep dive in it. And then we'll get these throughout the year where it's just a spattering of things that are coming. This one's probably my least favorite of the 3. Like, the other ones at least kind of give you a little bit something to chew on. This one doesn't as much. Because, even as we go through this, some of these games, it's like, I don't really know what to describe this game. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, I kind of have to see it. But this trailer really didn't give me anything.
Yeah, I think there's a couple I might have missed. I thought I watched through all of them. I'm gonna kind of breeze over. If you're on video, I have the what Xbox shared is the graphics showing all the games that they displayed on the preview. Really, only going to talk about the ones that are on coming to Game Pass because we're a Game Pass podcast, and I don't know. We might talk about a couple others. I know at least one Aaron will want to talk about, so we'll get there.
What I'm going to highlight on here.
Yeah, so Hunter the Reckoning. I don't even think I watched the video for this one.
No gameplay,
but yeah, this one of those like 2027. Here come here's a cool video type of game.
Yeah. So it was just a CGI cutscene thing. So it looks like vampires versus werewolves is what I get. Is this an early winner for the most obnoxious name for a video game ever made? Hunter
the Reckoning.
The Reckoning. Death Wish. Okay. All right. Just
pick one name.
Chill out a little bit here. So, so this was supposed to, I think out of all of this, they said this was the game that this is the only one that hadn't been revealed. Okay. So everything else has had some type of reveal. I think they claimed this one was a first time anyone's even heard of this, was this game. So, again, I don't know what to tell you because they didn't show. All they showed was CGI bits, so I have no clue what this game is.
You're a movie guy, and this is one of the few random movies that I actually watched. Don't ask why. This was one that I watched.
Underworld.
I was really into the Underworld movies. That vampire looks just like the Underworld vampires.
Yeah. And they're fighting the lichens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe we're just getting Underworld. Hunter the Reckoning, Death Wish, Underworld is what we're gonna play there. But that's on a Game Pass, so I'm not really gonna spend much time on it. Next on the list of Wuthering Waves. This one we were talking about a little bit. This is coming to Xbox. Has been around, but I mean, you mentioned it's kind of a gacha game.
I'm
right?
pretty sure it's a gacha game. I mean, it looks.
I think it's.
If you're telling me
this, but I'm looking.
It looks so connected to something like Zenless Zone Zero and Genshin Impact. It has that vibes written all over it. So forgive me if I'm calling it out and saying it's a gacha game. But I think they even said, because it's coming to Game Pass, but they said that it came with exclusive items or gear or something like that, which is normal for free-to-play games.
And where it's coming from a mobile world too. So it says after coming to PC, mobile devices, and PlayStation 5 over the last few years.
This one had very, very little to make me excited about. I was not very interested in this one.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't know. This type of game on Game Pass feels like a game that should be free to play in the first place, and then putting it on Game Pass.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's interesting. Is this one of those ones that they're. And I think this is what you were saying maybe is that they're just giving like Fortnite being on there, like you get bonuses, but it's really a free to play game at the end of the day.
Yeah, because we've seen this before. This isn't new to Game Pass, where a free to play game ends up on the Game Pass platform. I know that we've had that debate at least briefly, trying to figure out why Game Pass does that, who benefits from that. Since it is free to play, anybody can just go get it. I always wondered who pays for that. Like, I can't imagine Xbox is paying for that. I imagine the game is paying to put it on there. I don't know.
I bet you it's probably a bit of an even split. They say, hey, look, we'll give your players free in-game gear. You give us the space.
Maybe
everybody wins. And they just get extra eyes on it. Maybe there's somebody who plays the game and want to get that gear, or vice versa. They never would have played that game, or might add to the gear for it. But yeah,
it's possible.
Probably not something we'll probably end up covering then. I don't know. Maybe Andrew gets into it. But in our Discord, actually, someone was talking. This was being talked about was the Expanse, Osiris Reborn. Another mouthful of a name. Not quite as bad, but
it is. Still. It is. Yeah, it's a little less in your face. Keith, I already know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask just because we're on a podcast. Have you watched The Expanse yet?
I sure have not.
It's actually pretty decent. It was a show on Sci-Fi, and it had this really kind of like in and out kind of. I think it eventually ended up getting picked up by Amazon, and Amazon ended up putting out a few more seasons of it. It's not a bad sci-fi show. It's actually pretty good. Um, I think I've watched through the first 2 seasons. I don't know if I watched any of the ones that were on Amazon. Um, this game looks pretty good. It doesn't feel like an Expanse game to me,
Have they
but
made other Expanse games
I
before?
don't think so. But it doesn't feel like an Expanse universe, I should say.
Oh, okay.
Um, it feels a little bit different. You know what this game looks like? Because this one did actually show some in-game gameplay. Because I believe this one's got a 2026 release. I don't think this one had.
I thought this one was 2027.
You could be right. There might be some early previews or something with that. Because I know people have been talking about this on PC. Um, but it looks like one of those strategy games, like the XCOM games. That was the vibes that I was getting from the trailer. I
It
know
says
those
third
were
person action RPG, so I don't think so.
really. It looked really
Uh,
tactical. It looked like a lot of tactical stuff was going on.
April 22nd, it'll be getting a beta of this year with
Okay.
a release window now set for spring of 2027. So we'll
Okay.
we'll
So that you got a
potentially get some
beta.
gameplay this year.
Yeah. Um, this also gave a lot of Mass Effect vibes to it.
Yeah, I can see that.
So it looked pretty good though. It looked really really clean. So I was kind of surprised by that one.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those games that if it delivers what it shows, it could absolutely be good. I want to say this was, or maybe I'm thinking of Alien Deathstorm actually, but I thought this one had a lot of like this is just footage or whatever,
It had
or
some
not
game.
in-game footage.
It had some.
But yeah, either way, the weapons look cool. It just looked like a lot of chaos, a lot of fun sci-fi vibes. So I
Yep.
could see that being fun. Maybe we'll check out the beta again. That's coming out soon. So that looks good. This one I'm interested your take on, Aaron, is Grave Seasons, and this is one of the Game Pass games that I was curious your thoughts
Yeah.
on, and I think you know why already.
Yeah. So, it immediately made me laugh. This trailer almost right out of the gate gave me a chuckle because of a debate you and Andrew have had about this. These cozy, like farm building games or world building. I don't know whatever you call them.
I think it falls under cozy. Yeah, they
And
describe it that way.
it always starts with a relative dying and you having to take over their place. So you're always the outsider coming in to go take over. And literally the game starts with like an uncle telling you to take care of his place and all this stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, Andrew and Keith would be eating this up right now.
I guarantee you that's done intentionally.
I thought so. I was kind of wondering too. I was almost immediately glazed over on this because I'm like, oh gosh, no, not another one. Um, and then it randomly takes a turn, and it's a cozy, spooky game.
Made by Blumhouse or Blumhouse Game Studio.
Yeah.
So
So
that's where I was curious, where because this crosses into your movie realm here.
this one intrigued me a little bit more. I was like out because it looked like a paint by number cozy game, and you know my feelings on those. And then it gets violent, and there seems to be monsters involved, and I was like, okay, all right, now you've got my attention. So I am a little curious with this one.
Yeah, I think they described it as 50% survival or 50% cozy game, 50% horror survival.
Yeah.
So not even like a hey, we're just gonna taper in a little of this. Like it's actually a major function of the game.
Yeah.
So I'm with you. I don't generally care much for these types of games, and I kind of not on the level of the factory games that Andrew's all into, but it just becomes too much management and it doesn't feel fun anymore. I'm just constantly having to make sure I'm producing enough of a thing or whatever.
Yeah.
And like and we have a little bit of a running joke on the podcast about Graveyard Keeper. That was
Yeah.
probably the closest I can come to where it was like not your typical cozy game, but even that it was fully cozy. It was just spooky themed. Uh, but this should be interesting.
Andrew's
Like,
gonna eat
actually,
that
it feels
game
like
up.
the nighttime will be like You know, that's where your horror will kick in, and then
Yeah.
during the day you have your fishing and farming and all the likes. So,
I think Andrew's going to eat that game up.
oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Not Game Pass. So real quick, Serious Sam Shatterverse just looked really cool. I
Yeah.
watched the video for it. The Serious Sam games, I've only played little bits and pieces of them over the years, but they're mindless fun. And
Yeah.
this one
It's
just looks
funny
like
to
a
me
cool
that they're
little.
still going after all these years.
I mean, it feels like it's just one of those franchises that it's like you can just kind of always make it,
Yeah.
and everyone there's always a reason for it, and you can just adapt it a little bit. So I wouldn't be surprised if it comes to Game Pass at some point. They've had a few of the games on there over the no, was it not Mad Max? No, it's Serious Sam. So
Yeah.
they've had these games on there. I wouldn't be surprised if it ended up hitting at some point, but not a day one. So skipping over it. Stranger Than Heaven, though. I watched the trailer for it and I have no idea what's going on.
Well,
It looks like a Yakuza game a little
yeah.
bit where
Yep.
you're traveling through time, or maybe not traveling necessarily, but like living different periods of time.
It was the coolest trailer. Just
Yeah, the
'cause
music was
just,
awesome for it.
Yeah, it was just these jazz drums just playing the entire time, and that's all it was. Yeah, so it very much felt like Yakuza, but when you watch it, you're like, oh, it's actually very serious. It didn't look like it was going towards the kind of silly, over the topness that you get from a Yakuza game. So it felt like it was trying to be a little bit more serious, but it does take place in Japan. You are fighting the Japanese underground. So you're fighting gangs in 4 different time periods.
I think it's 5 actually.
Maybe it was 5.
But either
So
way, it's
I don't know
Sponge.
what that means. I don't know if that means you're the same character. I don't know if that this as the story progresses, it trades off to the next character. I'm not really sure because I really didn't see a whole lot of gameplay there. So there just wasn't much to glean from what the game is. You kind of get the vibes of it.
Yeah, they didn't really give a lot on that. But it does say this is on IGN. A special look at Stranger Than Heaven premieres May 6th. So nothing in
Yep.
terms of a date, but we should be getting more on it in the next month or so, which I'd actually be interested to see from what I saw. You know, the one thing about I have to point out of those drums, at just some point I needed a horn to kick in, and it never does. And
No, it's just drums.
It's building and it's building that whole time, and then it's like not. But what a cool video or cool trailer.
It was a cool trailer. Very cool trailer.
Super Meat Boy 3D. I never think I've ever played a Super Meat Boy game.
Oh, really?
No, but this just looked like a Rage Factory game.
All
they
Super Meat.
they
Yeah.
kind of sell it as that. It's a guy just like screaming and throwing things as he's losing in this game repeatedly. I'm like, this is the game. This seems like a game that I would absolutely hate play.
Yeah, Super Meat Boy, that was like in the era of like the 360 arcade days when Super Meat Boy was like really popular. It was what was really I remember the thing that was fun because I used to play it a little bit and I remember watching Andrew play it a lot. Is it would all the times you would die when you got to the end, it would replay all your deaths like in super speed to then your
Just taunt you
successful
a little
run.
bit.
Yeah, it was just kind of fun to see all the times you failed and then kind of like your successful run in there. So this one obviously is 3D. You know what I did love about this trailer? I know I'm talking less about the games themselves. I mean, there isn't much to say. So I'm spending more time on the trailer. This trailer gave me real old school video game vibes. Do you remember back in the mid 2000s and late 90s, video game trailers always had people in them, like
Yeah.
actual people in them. It wasn't just like an animated trailer. It always like had, and this just gave me old like Sega Genesis vibes
Sega
from
Genesis
the 90s.
was the ones I feel like they did it the most.
Yes,
The Game Gear
they were always like
commercial
really
that
frantic.
one was running
Yeah,
around
and,
Twitter or X.
and it would
recently, I
always
haven't watched it.
cut to like a dog or a baby, and they go Sega. Remember that?
Yep. Yep.
And they were just
there was
really
that.
frantic. That trailer gave me vibes of that, and maybe that's my age because anybody else that is, not in their 30s, they're probably like, I don't know what you're talking about.
But I bet you that's 100% intentional.
I bet that was.
I
felt
guarantee
like
you
a
that
vibe.
that's marketing as okay. We know that the
The demographic that
mid
liked their
30s
first game.
to mid 40s were the ones playing Xbox 360. They were playing this arcade game. They grew up with this style of commercial. let's absolutely hammer that home. Because what marketing isn't doing that now? They're like, hey, if we can
Yeah.
just grind in on a little bit of that nostalgia from you, we're gonna steal that and just get it in our pocket. Plus, it's
Yeah.
on Game Pass, so at the very least, it's gonna be worth checking out. This is
Yeah.
gonna be a game that, even if you don't spend hours playing it, it probably just fun to just pick up and hammer at for, I don't know, 15, 30 minutes or whatever.
And yeah, there's always a market that loves those types of games, that love that type of punishment.
Oh, these games are streamer delights, really.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So
People
I'm
love to watch
interested with
people suffer at these.
I'm interested in the 3D element of it, how that's gonna play, just because that 2D side scrolling and it was really fast. It was just such a unique feel to that game. I'm really curious how this thing's gonna feel in 3D, but yeah, you'll be at least be able to try it for free.
Yeah, I know one of the things that stuck out, just like it's one passing cut of it, as I watched them like make a jump where they intentionally skip a platform, and
Yeah.
it's like that's one of those things in games. I'm like, man, I love hate when they do that, like where they just give you those red herring type of platforms, and you sit there for 10 tries trying to figure out why you keep dying. You're going the way you're supposed to,
Yeah.
but you're not. So, yeah, could be fun. Forever ago, I didn't really understand. This looked like just like a narrative driven
This is
kind
the
of
all the
point and click.
Annapurna games have been like this.
Oh, it's Annapurna. Okay,
Yeah.
I totally missed that. That makes
So,
sense.
much like you've mentioned Blumhouse, Annapurna is really traditionally a movie studio, but they've been making games. But they've been doing a lot of these kind of deep, introspective art piece games, almost.
Mm-hmm.
What was that one? Did that game even come out? Where it had all that music, and it was like the three kids in the summer. It had this similar animation style, not quite cell shaded, but and it was really heavy with the music. But it had something cassette, I think. And
Oh,
it
I remember the game you're
yeah, it
talking
takes
about.
place in like the late '80s, early '90s, and it's just three teenagers, and then at one point they just start flying for some reason. I'm pretty sure that was an Annapurna game,
I'm pretty sure it did. I feel like we played that game.
and this game felt very similar to that. It has that very similar feel,
Yeah,
where
so
probably a bit more of a walking simulator. It's gonna be my vibe.
yeah, it'll probably be fine. Sure,
Oh, it's
we'll
gonna be all
sure.
narrative driven.
Yeah, it'll be good, but there wasn't anything about it that was wowing. I don't
Yeah.
think. Just a
No,
nice little throw in there. Excited for me though, Ascend to Zero. I'm always gonna be excited when you throw me a roguelike.
I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I do not remember this game.
It looks like
I literally remember everything on here. I'm
kind of
looking
like
at this image right now, and I'm like, I don't think I saw this trailer.
it's kind of a chaotic mess. I wonder if I have the trailer right here, if I can show it. It
Either way, it's a roguelike.
yeah, so it's
Looking
like
at
a
this
top
image, that's not
down.
what I got.
What's that?
Looking at this image, that's not what I would have guessed that game was going to be.
Yeah, so it's like an isometric style roguelike. Just looked like chaos, but it looks like it's all about controlling time. Is what is like your specialties and skills. So it's all like super fast paced, and it's like pause time, this, that, and the other.
I did not see this trailer? How would I have missed this? I didn't do anything interesting.
Yeah. What's that?
I was gonna say you're probably gonna mute.
Is there a past you wish you could rewrite?
Yeah, I don't remember this at all.
Loop start.
Oh my gosh, it's like chaos. So many animations. Just like
Yeah, so-
colors and effects all over the place.
So it's gonna be a lot, but I think it looks like a lot of fun. Definitely looks like something that I'd be into.
Oh, that's got Keith.
And that's coming
Whitman
out in
over it.
July,
Okay.
so at
No,
the very
not a long
least, it will be played. Going back to our list though, This is the one I know you'd be excited about, Aaron. Is Dispatch.
So I
It's
didn't.
not coming to Game Pass because I'm gonna have to buy it. Because I
I
will buy it now that it's coming to Xbox.
I didn't realize. I did, but it like didn't occur to me what was going on. But after some games, there was a narrator that would come on and say, to learn more about this game, go to xboxwire.com, or it would do something like that. And I was like, man, that kind of sounds like Aaron Paul a little bit. Like that's not the normal Xbox voice. And sure enough, I saw a tweet Xbox posted that was like, "There's a reason we have Aaron Paul on this preview." I was like, "Oh, that is Aaron Paul," and then boom, Dispatch, and he's the main voice of the main character in this game. So I was like, "Oh, that's cool." So they kind of let him, add a little extra something in there. Dispatch was my favorite game of last year. Me and Andrew did an episode on that. We did a whole separate episode on Dispatch. I love this game. I will 100% buy this again, which also kind of sucks because this is a play anywhere title. I did notice that seemed to be a big push on all of the titles they showed today, which means if I bought it on Xbox, I could just have it on PC as well. But I've been dying to do another playthrough of this game. So this is going to be a perfect excuse for me to do it. I will happily buy this game again because it was that dang good.
Now, if it's Play Anywhere, though, will you need to since you already bought an Xbox, or did you buy it through Steam?
No, I bought it through Steam because it didn't exist on Xbox at the time. It was on,
that makes sense.
Me and Andrew had kind of discussed that on like, wow, man, why wouldn't it go to Xbox? Because at the time it was on PC and it was on PlayStation and it was a smash hit.
Yep.
So it was just kind of frustrating that it wasn't on Xbox. But hey, now it is. So if that was your reason for not getting it, I will hammer this home. 100% worth getting.
Well, I'll most likely end up buying it. It was like $10 on Steam, so I'm guessing I'll probably be the same.
Yeah, I'm sure. I don't know what it was when I got it. I think I got it right when it finished, so it was the last episode that had released at the time. It was probably like $20 or $30. I don't remember.
That's not bad. Well, either way, looking forward to it. Alien Deathstorm. This was one that I was talking about. This one I feel like gave us a lot of like not in-game footage clips. And it's slated for 2027, I believe. So this one, I don't think we're really seeing what we're actually going to get necessarily, but what they showed of it did look really cool, I thought.
Well, sometimes the developer of the game maybe gives you insight into what the game could be, just because of where their strong suit is. So they did state on the game that this was being made by Rebellion Games. Do you know what series Rebellion Games makes? I'm pretty sure we've reviewed maybe one or two of those games.
Off the top of my head, no. Is it one of the Call of Duty games?
No, it's those zombie army games.
Okay.
Zombie sniper? Zombie?
Okay. I don't think we reviewed any of them. But didn't
There's
they
like
also
5 of them.
But didn't they also do, weren't we talking? No. That was a different game. I was thinking they did the zombie stuff for Space Marine.
No.
But no, that was a different one.
No, so they did the Sniper Elite games.
Okay.
And what was the... But Alien Deathstorm is obviously the one everybody is talking about right now. But it makes me wonder, kind of with their... Oh, did they do Atomfall as well?
Did they?
They might have done Atomfall.
What does it say
So
here?
they've
Atomfall
clearly...
and Sniper Elite Team.
So they didn't do the... Did they not do the zombie ones?
No,
they had to have.
Just as Atomfall and Sniper Elite teams at Rebellion.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it looks one of the things that stuck that like
No, they did Zombie Army. Yeah, they did.
They did. Okay. Yeah, one of the things that stuck out to me, like they show it in the trailer, but they talk about it too, is the fact that there's a lot of like a heavy weather element to it.
Yeah.
So I'm curious like how that's gonna play out, but I don't know. Again, we have a long time for that, so I don't think we need to spend a ton of time dwelling on it. It does look cool though.
Yeah. Yeah, it looked interesting.
Frog Squad, fun little party game, I think. Maybe
Yeah.
puzzles, but I don't know, nothing special about it.
Looks like it's like a randomly generated map that you're kind of speed running through. Is the vibe that I get. But yeah,
Yeah,
it
you
looks
gotta
like it's
collect
very heavy.
things
Like
and
couch co-op is probably where it's at for that game. Just looks like a little fun thing. You're probably not going to spend a ridiculous amount of time in, but something you get some laughs out of if you're playing with your friends.
yeah, and then Bluey's Happy Snaps. Very excited about
Oh,
this.
I know you are, Keith.
I'm a big Bluey guy.
I
My
saw
kid,
I saw a funny video online that just made me think of you, Keith, because I know how much you actually genuinely love Bluey.
sure
And
do.
it was like at Disney World, they were doing like a Bluey event. Did you see that?
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
the
They
person
had
pans the
actual Bluey at
camera, and
Disney.
there are like literally like 3 kids and all adults.
I mean, the fortunate thing for me is I don't think I would. I don't think genuinely I would have fallen in love with it if it weren't for the fact of having kids. I will say I don't think I would have just actually as an adult liked it otherwise. But because of my kids, I have grown to actually genuinely like it, and so I have an excuse that if I were to go to something like that, I'd be like, yes, I am bringing my kids because one, I feel like it would be weird if I didn't, and two, they genuinely would want to be there.
All right,
So
all right, all right. Hold on. I'm gonna put you in a scenario, okay? For whatever reason, you have a free ticket to Disney World, okay? So of course you're gonna go on some rides. I'm sure you've got a whole slew of rides you'd love to go try out. You got some food you're definitely gonna try out. You're walking by and that Bluey event is happening. Are you stepping in there to go watch it?
I mean, yeah, if I'm already there and it's just happening, but I'm not going out of like I'm not making myself a trip to go to that thing without planning for taking the
I know,
family. But
that's
if I
why in
happen
that
to be there and
scenario,
it's like randomly happening, like yeah, I'll pop in. It's
I
Disney.
kind of I figured your threshold would be you're not going to the park willingly on your own. That's why I had to make the threshold. You're already there.
Because well, I mean, truthfully, here's another, and this is gonna be actually a little bit, but you've been there, so you do know there are different parks. So if anything, I would willingly go spend a day at Epcot by myself
Oh,
anytime. Epcot's awesome.
oh,
And I even
100%.
genuinely like all of Disney and everything too. But if there was any reason I was ever gonna go by myself, I genuinely would enjoy my day at Epcot by myself.
But
But
that's
like
not really
Magic Kingdom and all that, where
that's not the
probably
key
Blue
to
would
my
be.
question.
I
Listen,
know. I'm
you
just
and me
that's why
both
I'm saying
would.
it's a well actually.
I'm saying if you walked by, like I'm saying if I walked by and there's a Bluey event happening, keep walking.
Now I and this throws a caveat on there. The amount of people that would have been at that event, would I have waited? No.
No, let's
Like-
let's say no. There's a seat available for you.
Oh,
There's a
seat available? Hey, absolutely, yeah. No, I'm already at Disney. I don't care. Like, I jokingly call it the great equalizer all the time. It's not at all because gosh, that place is so dang expensive. But like once you're there, everyone is a hot, sweaty, gross mess of a person.
That's
dripping
not
from the
the
rain.
point of that.
It does not matter. You can wear goofy hats and make a fool of yourself and do whatever you want within reason, of course. Obviously, I'm popping in there.
It's the collapse of our society right there. I'll tell you this. Last time I went to I don't even remember what it was. It was like a Disney Junior dance party. And I
that's a good time.
wanted to die sitting there. I was like, this is the worst. They just kept bringing out different Disney characters to dance around with the kids and stuff like that. And they had a DJ in there and everyone's going nuts. And I am like, please get me out of here. Please get me out of here. I've never been
the air
full
conditioning's
Disney.
in there.
I'm just saying, if I was at Disney, I would 100% agree. Like, there are absolutely some rides there I think are absolutely awesome, and I would kill to go in Epcot just to eat all the food.
Yep,
Food
food's
alone
great.
is worth it. But I'm just saying, if I'm walking by and there's a Bluey event, I am still walking. I am not wasting my time watching some Bluey thing. So anyway, so when Keith says he is actually happy for Bluey's Happy Snaps, I really wanted to bring this up to say he genuinely means it. He will play this game, and he will enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean my kids will, but you know,
Yeah, and you.
I'll
Just
enjoy the
stop
ride
it.
along with them.
Stop it.
Stalker 2, Cost of Cope. That's a DLC. Is all that is. Right?
Yeah, it looks like it was a DLC. I think they claimed it. You know, watching this trailer was really, really interesting. We were not, I believe all three of us weren't really high on the game when we reviewed it. If I remember correctly, I know I
No,
wasn't.
I think Andrew liked it. It was like Andrew, you were in the middle, and then I just
I thought the narrative was really bad. I thought it was super glitchy. Like I felt like I was doing nothing but running into really funky looking graphics. It was really just bland looking everywhere you went. When looking at this trailer, I was like, this looks like a completely different game. And
Stalker 2 is the one too. It's just you just wake up in the middle of an explosion, right?
Yes.
That you're making fun of.
yes. And then it's just like suddenly you're like going into the zone. And it was like, what the heck was that? Like that just threw you into it with no real explanation. So watching this trailer, I was like, this game looks really different. Like there were obviously plenty of things that I like. Well, I have very strong memories of, but there was a lot of stuff in there that I was like, this seems cleaner. And maybe that polish is just because this is a trailer, but it did make me wonder. All right, how far along has this game come since we last played it?
But typically, you don't see huge leaps in graphics just from a DLC, though.
No, but I know that this is a game they had been working on. So I'm wondering if when you're watching the DLC, you're really just seeing, the last year and a half of improvements plus the additional stuff that will come along with that DLC. I didn't know there was a big enough Stalker 2 audience to warrant a DLC. I feel like you don't see a lot of DLCs for just single player games like this much anymore. It's just becoming more and more rare.
Especially this far out from the release. Like it feels like, and I don't know, what is it? It's less than 2 years, I guess, but it still feels like if it had its window, it was going to be in that first 6 to 8 months. That's when you're going to see a DLC on a game like this. I agree.
Yeah. It did make me wonder, though, when I was watching, I was like, all right, is this worth going back and checking out? Because the game is still on Game Pass. This will not be on Game Pass. Like all DLCs for games, pretty much. Even for their first-party titles, you would be paying for that separately.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I will. Probably not.
Didn't move anything for me.
But Musa, Dirty Fate. So this is set in feudal Korea, I believe I saw.
Yeah. So this has a very, gosh, I feel like we're seeing a lot of games like this, like a Ghost of Yotei. Maybe a little bit more actiony than that, but
sword combat.
Yeah, just heavy sword combat. Looked relatively interesting. Get not like a whole lot to go off of it. So I was kind of. Also, there's zombies in it.
Okay, interesting.
It looks like.
But yeah, I mean, you were talking about studios that made the game. You said this was made by the same studio or developers that made Gungrave Gore. Which I never played, but I recognize the name.
Yeah, I remember that game.
So.
Okay. So yeah, we don't know much about that. I think that was a 2027 release as well.
Yeah, that's another one. Eternal Life of Goldman. This looked like a platformer kind of Metroidvania.
Looked hard. This game looked hard as crap.
I couldn't quite figure it. Like I said, it very simply looked like a platformer, and in a sense, like I said, that kind of Metroidvania was my vibe, where you were changing up your cane, I think, of your character, to like perform differently. But I didn't really get a vibe on it otherwise. It looked kind of fun though.
It looked fun, but it looked like that game looked like that was going to be hard. That was just my initial take when I was watching it. Is it kind of not quite like a Silk Song, but it looked like it wants to be a difficult game. I don't know. It did show a lot of gameplay from it, and there was a lot of stuff going on at points.
Demo's out today. Doesn't give an exact date, but it does say for 2026. So I don't know. That's when I could see us playing, because I think I'd want to check that out. It looks fun.
Yeah, I'm sure we will.
It's all because if I remember from what I remember seeing, it's all hand drawn.
The graphics looked amazing on that one.
which is awesome. You just, I mean, not even in like everything's AI. Just with that, with everything, even just good quality CGI. It's you don't see a lot of really good hand drawn games anymore. So I think it'll be really fun. I'm excited for that one.
Yeah.
Vaunted, I couldn't quite tell what was going. This is the one that I feel like you were thinking of that looked really tactical in nature. It looked like there was like cards.
This one did too.
You would kind of run around in an open world. It looked like, but then battle would go into a turn-based tactical style. Is what I got from this.
Yeah, this was the one where I saw the trailer and I said I could be into this, but there was no one describing what the game was, so none of these did. So sometimes you're just seeing these snippets and you're like, yeah, what is this game? Is it tactical? Yeah, because there were these cards at one point. And
Yeah,
I
it
was
would
like,
flash up on the screen and be like, it would like announce an action for a character too. So I felt like it was definitely turn-based.
and there's 3 characters in it. I don't know. So I was like, all right, this could be interesting. It's just I'm not gonna know until we can actually see that game kind of in action.
From the IGN description, new game that promises tactical RPG gameplay, unreliable narrators, and unique alien characters.
Okay.
But
So-
yeah, like I said, almost like deck builder too a little bit. I don't know if
Yeah,
like,
it was
that's
really,
what the cards
really
are.
interesting trailer. I can't say it blew me away, but I do want to see more.
Yeah, it was one of those that like gave you just enough to hook you, but not enough to really intrigue you.
Yeah.
Probably the one that got me the most, and rightfully so, I think a lot of people would agree, is Hades 2. Just, I mean, not so much of a surprise, so much of we finally got an announced date for it coming to Xbox, coming to Game Pass. And yeah, I loved the first one. You definitely weren't on with us when we did the first Hades. Did you ever play the first Hades?
I did. I didn't like it.
Really?
So
How much did you play then? I'm curious.
here's the thing. I think if I went back, I would love it. The problem was that was my introduction to like a roguelike game.
Oh yeah, yep.
And so I just didn't get it. Like it didn't hook me. But now I get the genre. And I feel like I'd go back to it and I would love it because
Well, because I
get it
think
now.
you'd love the storyline, and you probably already did. If I'm betting.
Well,
but-
I didn't really get I didn't really understand that the storyline was really progressing the further you went into it. Like I was not picking up on any of that stuff. Like I said, I did not understand the genre at all. But you know why I know I would really like it? Have you played Scorn yet?
I think so.
So it is very much like Hades. Scorn or is it Sorn? It's on Game Pass right now.
I think I have.
It's like Hades, but Arthurian. So, it's a lot
Oh
of
yeah, I
knights
did
and
play
stuff
some
like
of that one.
But it,
Yep.
and I love it. So I know I would go back and play Hades, and I would love it. It was just the time. It was my introduction to it. It didn't make any sense to me. It would make a lot of sense to me now. And hey, I'm excited to pick up Hades 2 just as much.
Yeah, and it's one of those ones. It's not so hard that or anything that you can't play it, but it's not as fun. Like it's not one of those ones where you're constantly trying to break the game. It's built to be a little bit survival. Like you got to just try to get to the end and scrape together the best thing you can.
Yeah.
And that's what I kind of like about it. It's a totally different pace, and it's not always my favorite style, but I love the way they do it, and I just had a ton of the first one. And yeah, I think now that you like, I'll be interested to see like how you take on even the story now, because I feel like if you don't really jive with the gameplay, you're not going to want to even care what's going on with the story. But if now you're interested in all that, because it's super in depth.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty cool. So, last one here, not on Game Pass, but it does look really cool, and I'm hoping it
know.
hits Game Pass. Is Artificial Detective.
This was maybe this is probably one of my favorite trailers out of it.
Yeah, it was really cool.
It just seems like a cool vibe. It seems like a really cool setting. I kind of like the character that they have playing this artificial intelligence robot detective. And then he's got kind of that young human sidekick. So yeah, this was not a bad trailer. You don't see a ton about the actual game itself, but
No, it looked a little action-ish. Like
it looked more actiony than I thought it was going to be initially. I thought it was going to
Yep.
be actual detective work, and there might be. We just don't know.
Yeah, like some puzzles.
But this one caught my attention the most. Out of everything in there that we saw today, I was like, all right, I'd be willing to check that game out.
No, I'd largely agree. It looked like one of those things too, like where your sidekick, so to speak, it's more like a constant hindrance. And I'm
Yes.
curious if it's gonna be one of those things that like gets annoying, that constantly you're just like just have to solve, like not solve, but like constantly saving them. But I did like that the robot wasn't dry. It seemed like he was like kind of fun, kind of
yeah.
loose. And I think we talked about this recently on an episode with robots, and something about having more like lucid humanistic robots made them more interesting. And I don't know, maybe that's a whole different commentary, but not having that super rigid traditional sci-fi robot can be boring.
And you know, your corporate overlords are taking note on what you like about AI, because they're going to make
Like,
sure
he
your
said-
AI
he's-
is really cool and loose and fun.
They're hearing me say all the good things about them right now, so
Yeah.
we're in good shape.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But that's it. That's the Xbox partner preview. I don't know. Is there anything else you want to talk about, Aaron? I'm guessing not. But, yeah.
I give it a 78 overall.
Okay. I would give it a game. A game.
Yeah.
Doing there.
But does
Thumbs
that
up.
game pass?
That game passes. That partner
Wow.
preview game passes.
All right. That's the best.
And
That's the best
that's-
review you can give it.
That's all we have to say about that. So if you've made it this far, thank you for joining us. As always, Andrew will be back next week again talking Disco Elysium. That should be an interesting episode.
I'm excited for that one.
I am too. Gonna figure out how to play us out here, and that's gonna be the episode once I figure that out.
Hit that button. Hit it.
Doing it. I'm double clicking it. Andrew
Yeah,
said
you-
it's just double.
Just click it once.
Well, let's do that instead. There we go.
I don't think that's the one you wanted to hit.
I mean, I did. I was trying to click the Game Pass outro one, and it wasn't working. So I said, I'll click the Arc Poop one. And the Arc Poop one works. And then the Game Pass
boy.
outro works. So that's it. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next week.
See you.
Bye.